Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. Now, we are aware that William Ruto is set to go to US in May. And basically, I believe that 60% to 70% of Kenyans are aware about that move. In a separate event, I came across a video of Paul Kagame. And Paul Kagame, we all know him, the president of Rwanda.
The two former presidents, I think they are more free to say things than I do. I think there is that serious problem. African leaders, we don't need to be invited anywhere to go and address our problems.
Paul Kagame castigated the presidents who take issues to the West. You know, take issues to the West as if the West is going to solve the problems of Africa.
Without first inviting ourselves to come together to tell each other the actual truth that we must tell each other about our serious problems.
Paul Kagame is trying to tell the heads of state to refrain from telling or from over-relying on the West to solve their own domestic problems. So the timing of this speech is what was a bit concerning to me, because why did Paul Kagame choose to make this statement close to 2 weeks to that date, or close to 3 weeks to that date or month that William Ruto is expected in the US? So I want us to go extensively onto that aspect and the video where Paul Kagame has made that statement and this trip of William Ruto, because there is something that Paul Kagame was trying to push here. But before you do that, please take 1 second, go below there and look at the bottom with the thumbs up. Please just like this video. It's so important. If you like this video, that is the only way you support this channel. Also, you can take a moment and subscribe to this channel to be able to be part of this family. So those who supported us before, thanks so much for your support. Paul Kagame did not miss his words when he said the following.
Wait until they are invited to go to Europe, to sit there and just, you know, it's like they are made to sit down and address their problems. Why does anybody wait for that? What image does it even give about us, about Africa? In fact, the image it gives is that we are not there to even address these problems. We are there for a photo opportunity. We are happy to sit there in Paris with the president of France and address and just talk about addressing problems. It doesn't make sense that our leaders cannot get themselves together to address problems affecting our people. It doesn't make sense. Of course, I'm saying this painfully. On the other hand, that I look forward for the time when I can be like...
Very well, ladies and gentlemen, you think you've heard it for yourself, because that is what Paul Kagame said. We've always known, if you check the history, especially last year, we can say from 2022, just let's take, for example, 2022, end of 2022 to end of 2023. The first trip we saw was one of the African heads of state going for the burial of Queen Elizabeth. I mean, that one we can exempt kidogo, but there was that event, and in that event also, it's alleged that African heads of state were not given the presidential treatments they ought to have been given. That is just that. So there was also another trip of a US-Africa summit, whereby the Africa heads of state also converged in the US, you know, There is also another story of Russia and Africa heads of state partnership. There's a story of China, Africa heads of state partnership. I think there is one of India. Then there is one of Italy, Africa summit. So all these things are the reasons why Paul Kagame chose to attack all the African head of state who take their time and go to diaspora or go to the West to talk about their problems there. So he's literally trying to tell them that they should use homemade solutions to cure problems of Africa. There is no point going to the West to tell your problems. That's why you find that countries like Senegal chose to elect a president over the other presidential candidate who supports France. See, that's what happened. If you look at issue of Burkina Faso, whereby President Traore is there, they have also looked for a homemade solution to deal with these people, the neo-colonists. They call them neo-colonialists. France again. That is Burkina Faso. If you look at the issue of Niger, all these problems, these people have gone for homemade solutions to fix their problems. So I think looking at the timing of this statement by Paul Kagame, one could easily think or feel that Paul Kagame could have been targeting William Ruto. He could have been targeting William Ruto because there is a trip of Kenya president to go to the White House. That invitation is out there in the public domain. So could be, maybe Paul Kagame was reacting to this trip, saying that it doesn't make sense. You don't have to go there and, talk about your problems to them. They will take advantage of your problems and pretend they want to offer you a cure only to enrich themselves. So this is the message that Paul Kagame is trying to unleash there. And the message, to me, I think I understand it, and I understand it perfectly well. And maybe Paul Kagame is telling the truth. I tend to believe that he could be telling the truth. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you make of this revelation from Paul Kagame? Do you think Paul Kagame is aiming at William Ruto's trip to the US? And question is, why did he choose to bring this topic at the time when William Ruto is supposed to jet out of the country? So all this leads us to one thing. Maybe Paul Kagame was aiming at William Ruto's foreign trips. So, ladies and gentlemen, perhaps if you watch this video and you've not subscribed, please take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. So until you catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.